Hello and welcome to Reddit on Reddit, the internet's auditory version of Reddit. I'm Nelson Allingham, joined by Michael Campbell and Stacey Stace Machine Queegis.
Oh, no. Hate that.
Yeah, that's what I call you. Stace Machine. Not T-Face. That's the first time I've said a T-Face.
Yeah. We've known each other pretty well for, 7 or 8 years now. You've never called me that.
Yeah. But
Not to your face.
Yeah. See the reaction I'm getting right now? This is why I've never said a T-Face.
Yes, we have brought Stacey in for our very first Reddit on Reddit section because this is one I actually sent to you for a Reddit on Reddit. I thought, let's change the format a bit.
Yeah.
I thought, 436 in.
Yeah.
Let's change it a bit.
Just a little bit.
And then to be clear, it'll go back to it being exactly the same afterwards.
Maybe this is the beginning of where Stacey takes over you, and then Ellen takes over me, and we don't have to do the podcast anymore.
Yeah, but we still get all the money,
all the royalties. Oh, it'd be nice if that was above zero.
Yeah. Or not costing us money.
Yeah. All right. Well, what am I saying something now?
Yeah. Well, okay. So first of all, I will say this is let's say it's an anecdote to a couple of weeks ago. We talked about Trump. There were some people being like, American politics, I hear about it all the time. I thought, you know what? Let's talk about stuff that's going on in our government because we're facing troubles too. So do you want to read the post?
All right.
Then perhaps we can go into it.
Yep. So this post was in the subreddit Oz Public Service, and it was by user Rusty Udder. Lawyer who claimed Microsoft Teams was illegal video surveillance has bullying claim rejected.
Yes. Now, on the face of it, this sounds like a whatever boring case.
Yeah.
However, Stacey Machine over here.
Yeah.
As Miss Machine, if you don't know her. You've looked into this a bit. You actually presented this to me because you've been following this.
I'm obsessed with this case.
This case.
It's just been a real bright spark on my week. I read the entire Fair Work Commission report, which is like a dry document, and I read the entire thing aloud to Cambo the other night. Who says that romance is dead?
Yeah.
I will say the idea that like the teams being surveillance, that is that's a bit of the iceberg.
I wasn't even going to talk about that.
That's a bit of the
There's
iceberg.
literally too much to cover.
Okay, right. Yeah.
Now, ethically speaking, do you think we should not say this person's name?
Yeah, I'll just call him like Bob.
Okay. Because his name is in the report, but also like we don't want to encourage people trying to seek this dude out. I'm sure he's going through enough already as far as people looking him up. I think all of his profiles have been put on private and stuff.
Right,
so maybe, we'll call him Bob for now.
Okay.
Right, so I feel like I could write a PhD on this thing.
Okay.
Look, Nelson, you work for the government.
Yeah.
We all have worked with people before who are, unpleasant.
That one.
To deal with.
Yeah.
It's also really hard to get fired in Australia.
Yeah.
That's probably worth noting.
Oh, God, such a pain.
So this guy has made a bullying claim against his 3 female superiors for his government lawyer job. I feel like gender is not crucial to mention in the allegations, but they have noted it.
Okay.
So I think that there is maybe, just keep that in your back pocket about this guy's demeanor.
I'll read between the lines.
Yes. Yeah. So before they even get into the allegations and the report and like the official documentation of this, this case, the guy in the commission starts it off saying it is unfortunately necessary to make some observations about the conduct of Bob in this matter before dealing with the application. Really strong start. Bob has been exceptionally difficult to deal with. Despite having completed a law degree, he was unable to follow the most basic of instructions to prepare a witness statement that would form his evidence. Instead, and despite numerous attempts to explain what a witness statement is both verbally and in writing, and providing an example, Bob submitted a statement of claim. When subsequently directed to provide a witness statement, he refused. You would think that, going into like a fair work hearing, you might want to put your best foot forward and conduct yourself professionally.
Yeah.
I love the caveat, like, before we even get into this.
Yeah, exactly.
Just starting it's been a nightmare.
Yeah. Just so you know.
There is too much to get into before the allegations even start. So that is like verbatim what they said, just saying the scene.
Yeah.
Here are a few other dot points they've included about Bob's matter during the hearing. He was rude, obstructive, refused to concede points he clearly should have, and regularly refused to answer questions directly. He said that he didn't care whether his manager was dead or alive.
Oh, my God. How does it come up anyway?
He referred to one manager as a moron with no credibility. He said, what kind of moron sets that task in reference to a request by his supervisor for a brief on a high court decision?
Okay.
He said that he doesn't give a shit about his manager.
Oh, my God.
He characterized the reasonable and appropriate questions asked of him during cross-examination as fucking ridiculous. And to top it all off, he scheduled a medical appointment in the middle of the hearing and did not inform us until the day of the hearing.
What?
Yep.
So none of this is his claim, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
This is just like...
They're setting the scene.
Yeah. This is the guy we're dealing with.
Yeah, at the start, so context, character background.
This is, I think, it needs to be said, this is a younger guy.
He's a recent graduate.
Yes.
So
it's not
it's
not an old curmudgeon. This is a young guy coming in guns blazing.
Wow. That is, but like still, I imagine a lawyer graduate. How old
he
are we
must be in at least his mid-20s.
Yeah, 25, 26.
Yeah. Oh, you're getting to the age where age is not an excuse.
yeah. But just to say, like, this isn't a guy that's been through the system and is sick of it. This is a guy that's coming in being
just
like...
started.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of changes he wants to make. By the time he becomes that old curmudgeon, he's going to change the system.
So there are 3 allegations that he put. I won't put in all of the points because it's just too long.
Yeah.
But let's kick off with allegation 1. So the first allegation is that Bob claims he was bullied because he was required to attend work at, quote unquote, a certain time. Which is work hours.
Yeah, that's pretty normal, Bob.
So Bob claims that they enforced an inflexible schedule that was cruel. For example, he was required to participate in a 2-hour training session and they would not let him stop for a break due to fatigue and hunger.
Are you kidding me? This guy gets tired and hungry within a 2-hour period.
Yep.
What is this guy?
So I'm going to read you an email. So you submitted this email chain as evidence. And look, I'm a manager and sometimes I have to manage performance or I have unpopular conversations. It sucks.
Yeah.
They
call you the mean machine sometimes.
Let me, you tell me whether or not you think that this email is unreasonable.
Yeah.
Hi, Bob. I just wanted to schedule a time to see how you're settling in and discuss some of our expectations for the role. I hope to discuss the flexible working arrangements available and how you feel you're meeting your work and outside work commitments. I would also like to discuss your use of time at work, including for personal reasons. Looking forward to catching up.
Great email.
Great.
Well worded. ChatGPT helped, obviously.
Yeah. Copy, paste that. I would use that template myself.
Yeah, fantastic.
So Bob comes back and he says, hey, not a problem. Can you provide me with the feedback ahead of time just so I can come to the meeting prepared? And she says, yeah, of course. Like, I really appreciate you wanting to be prepared for this meeting.
Proactive. That's good.
Very proactive. I won't read the entire email in full because it is quite long. Let me just summarize in dot points.
Okay, yeah.
So the feedback is that he has been late to many meetings and appears to be having difficulty arriving at work or managing his calendar and commitments. He has been observed multiple times online shopping and looking at real estate during meetings. He has been using his work email to correspond regarding personal disputes with 4 different colleagues. The manager says that she is happy for people to use work time and equipment for personal matters within reason, but only when it does not impact the tasks they have to complete. And since he is yet to actually complete any tasks, she expects him to prioritize work before personal tasks. She would also like for him to stop falling asleep in meetings.
Oh, my God.
Now, Nelson, would you describe the tone of this email as menacing and out of context?
No.
He would. That's bullying.
Yeah, okay. Whoa. That is so funny.
You can't even sleep in meetings
when somebody's just telling you the facts of things and you're like, well, that's bullying. I think that says you should look back on yourself and
Yeah.
say, like, that says more about me. When somebody tells me straight and I think it's bullying, I'm probably doing something wrong.
Yeah. I like that he said this is out of context. The actual email, she is like, this other colleague has had to wake you up in meetings several times. He's like, where's the context? Where's the context of that?
Oh my God. That is so bizarre. I could not imagine like falling asleep in a meeting. Like, so many times. Maybe if I was like totally exhausted one day or something, I could accidentally fall asleep in a meeting. But it would be so difficult for me to do so because I would be so conscious of what people are thinking when they see me fall asleep.
This is a 2 nickel situation. You know, if I had a nickel for every time I fell asleep in a meeting, look, maybe you only have 2 nickels, but that's a lot of nickels in this situation.
Yeah. That's still too many nickels.
If you had fallen asleep in a meeting once because you're exhausted, they wouldn't write you an email being like, this is a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to get into the second allegation?
Okay, yes, please.
Okay, so the department does like this charity event and you are able to essentially apply to work for this event. And because it's within work hours, there is some flexibility about like doing that instead of work.
Yeah.
So Bob wanted to take some time off to volunteer at this department charity function. His manager let him know that it was up to each individual supervisor to approve the leave and whether it would be used as like work time or flex time.
Right.
So Bob filed an incident report to HR because in his view, this was a serious interpersonal conflict and he alluded that his supervisor was not mentally fit for work. He strongly suggested in his report that a welfare check take place on the supervisor.
Whoa! What? Oh my God.
I appreciate that Bob, in all aspects of his job, comes in guns blazing.
I think so. Well, it's starting to seem like he's got a shotgun approach to like just getting his way. He's like, if I just throw lots of stuff at the wall, eventually something will stick.
It's like, hey, Bob, can you do this? First of all, that's the worst thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. And you should be checked out mentally.
Yeah. To be fair, his supervisor did say that she approached the conversation with some frustration because Bob wanted time off for this charity event, but he was not following any of the feedback that had been given to him or progressing any tasks. As a reminder, he is yet to complete any work.
Yeah.
So Bob says that he now has expressed severe physical discomfort about being in the same space as her. And so they assigned him a new manager.
Oh my God.
Which is patient.
Yeah, but what a blessing for that manager. Like, to be like, thank God I don't have to deal with Bob anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not happy about how it happened, but I'm glad
what
I
a
don't have
curse
to
for
deal
the
with
new
him.
manager.
Yeah, super curse. But surely they've been, warned, like going into it, be like, hey, you're going to have to deal with Bob. Do you reckon like maybe a fresh start could have helped? Because sometimes you start off when a new employee comes in, just doing your same management style to everyone. Maybe now they've got a bit of a heads up. They'll know how to handle Bob.
Well, the new manager does come into allegation 3.
Okay, I take that back. It doesn't help.
It didn't help at all.
It didn't help. I thought it might help. It did not help.
So as a reminder, Bob is a recent grad, and as part of his practical legal training, he's required to complete 105 hours of professional placement and complete a checklist of at least 8 tasks.
Oh, it sounds like bullying to me.
So this new manager sends him an email and says that I'm concerned that you will not meet either the hour or the task requirement. None of the tasks on your task list have been completed, and you have not reached out to any senior government lawyers instructing you to manage due dates in light of your absences. In fairness to you, I wanted to raise these concerns with you before the completion of the professional placement period so that we can find a solution.
Yeah.
Which again, I think is very patient to be like, you've
mean
done
in my
literally
opinion,
no
but
work.
all right.
But like, I want to give you the best chance of like passing this placement.
Yeah.
Let's figure out a solution.
Yeah.
But you know what that is?
No. That's bullying.
Yeah. So Bob says that these comments are vague and superficial. He says that constantly calling him into meetings to discuss his performance is exasperating.
Oh my God. You're telling me, Bob.
And he says that she should have known that having a task list is overwhelming and any attempts to force him in to complete them is bullying.
What? What is that?
I love the idea of his first point, which is like, you've got 8 tasks and you haven't done any of them. Well, that's vague.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah. Which tasks? These ones. Vague.
Stop bullying me.
Yeah, crazy.
So, do you want to know the outcome of the application?
Yes.
So they said, obviously there is nothing unreasonable in expecting Bob to attend scheduled meetings or training sessions on time, nor is there anything unreasonable in setting clear expectations about how he uses his time while at work or expressing concern about him falling asleep during meetings. This application is dismissed.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, I would say one of the best parts about this is you read it and go, this guy must be a real piece of work.
Yeah.
And if you look at this for longer than like 5 minutes, you discover this is not his first foray.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
There is also, I also read the entire Fair Work Commission report on his unfair dismissal claim from his prior job.
Oh, my God.
Of course. Because you know what I was thinking? Just to pause this for a second, maybe give context to those who don't know Australian, employee rights and stuff. But because I was thinking, right, it is really difficult to fire somebody in Australia. But not impossible, especially when you have somebody who sounds like Bob.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it is actually, even though it's a painful process, it's going to be better for us in the long run to get rid of this person.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have to have frequent
ducks in a row.
Yeah. You have to have frequent performance, training meetings and stuff to be like, you're not meeting expectations. You need to do that several times in a row. And then you can eventually finally say, we've tried. These are all the steps that we've tried to get you to be a better worker. You're not making it. You're fired.
Yeah.
But the natural thing is to go to Fair Work for unfair dismissal, which clearly Bob has done in his previous job. All right,
yes.
Read us this one.
I won't read the whole thing. It's not quite as interesting, but he was fired for several long periods of unauthorized absences from work. And he did retaliate by reporting the conduct of several department officials to the police.
Police! To the police!
Yeah.
Oh my God. But what? Does it say what reason?
Bullying. They were just mean and unprofessional. And
Bullying, so went to the police.
Harassment. I think he used the word harassment.
Oh my God.
This guy is a lawyer, as a reminder. The best part of this story is that he does still actually work in his job.
That is so depressing.
That's how hard it is to fire people.
Yeah. I mean, surely it sounds like he is on this performance management thing to get out.
Yeah.
Because especially actually the way that, some of those emails are worded that you mentioned from the managers.
All in writing, documentation.
Yeah. Write everything down so that you've got proof of everything so that when he inevitably does go for the unfair dismissal this second time, you can be like, these are all the emails. These are all the catch-ups. This is how often we did it. So
Imagine torpedoing your career so quickly.
Whoa. Surely that's unhireable.
Fresh grad.
Yeah.
Already twice has gone in for one unfair dismissal and one account of workplace bullying. Not only that, now this has been covered. I've seen this posted a few places now. This is now an infamous case.
I don't understand how you can be so entitled. Not think that you're doing anything.
Maybe that's what you need in your lawyer to be like, what happened? You murdered? Well, first of all, it's insane that they're accusing you of that.
Bullying. Maybe. Maybe he needs to be a defense lawyer.
Yeah.
Well, no, so far he hasn't won any. So actually, I take that back as well. Yeah. I can't. It blows my mind that somebody so actively wants to just do as little work as possible and get away with it. And fall asleep
which is I don't want to sound like too much of a curmudgeon, but I think there are people who have gone through important life periods during the pandemic and are just lacking certain social skills. So presumably this guy would have been in his early 20s getting into the professional world when the world shut down.
Nah, this is definitely private school, rich boy
definitely.
prick.
That's
what that screams.
That's
He's
true.
never been told no.
Yeah. Also, I'm not necessarily... Apologies to all lawyers who work in the public service, but something tells me that's not the peak of being a lawyer is to go straight into public service.
Yeah.
I imagine it's like private, firms is where you want to go.
Now, this is also something we talked about last episode, which is if you defend yourself in court and win, then you should just become a lawyer instead of going through law school.
Yeah.
But he actually did defend himself in this case.
Yeah.
But maybe that was his way of trying to maybe he still had some, instead of doing all his volunteer work or whatever to get the credentials, if he just defends himself in this one case, I'd be like, well, that was real good.
He could be like, I've done it.
Because all the evidence was against you. Bob.
Yeah. You didn't even give a witness statement. That was integral, and you still came out on top. I don't know how.
Anyway, all that to point out is that our government has issues too.
Yeah.
We're going through some stuff too.
Yeah, I mean,
Bob is a real menace.
I mean, should Bob get into power, I think we should be really worried. But,
He could be the next, Australia's Trump.
yeah.
Give him 20 years.
Yeah.
That level of,
deny.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Sue. Yeah.
Sue. Bullying. Well, that was amazing.
That was
my gift to you guys. I'm obsessed. Is anyone else? Probably not.
No, that's great. I would like frequent updates if something.
I think that if something piques Stacey's interest, bring it in.
Bring it. We'll have a new Stacey segment.
Yeah.
Let's
The
do
thing
the
is,
intro.
I do actually hate coming on the podcast. I just really loved this story, and unfortunately love my husband, and he asked me to.
You think we want to be here?
Nobody wants to be here.
Yeah, but I haven't done 500 episodes in a row or something, so there's nothing tying me here.
Yeah.
Apart from, I guess, a wedding ring.
Yeah. There's one thing tying you here.
Yeah.
It is my house.
You should threaten divorce campaign more often.
Yeah. That's how I got it here.
More often. Yeah. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Stacey.
Thanks, Stacey Machine. I think it's going to catch on. I think we're going
to get a few emails from listeners saying, I love Stacey Machine.
Love Stacey Machine. The nickname rolls off the tongue.
It's a real good way to never have me back.
Okay. I won't call you Stacey Machine. Stace Terminator. Ooh.
I'm probably going to go now.
Better? Okay.
All right. And should we get into the next segment?
Okay. This Ask Reddit is by cross-posted to us from Avant Cardigan, but originally by Ad Efficient 2209. Wait, quickly. Okay, just quickly.
Yep.
I have to point out, as we occasionally do, how unbelievably woeful the search function is.
Oh, yeah.
On Reddit.
Yeah.
Okay. It's so bad. And what's crazy is they did a deal with Google, right?
Yeah. That's what I don't understand. Because if I'm trying to find a Reddit post, I Google it.
Yeah.
And then put Reddit afterwards. And I'm like, oh, there it is immediately.
It usually comes up.
Yeah.
But it's so just reverse engineer that into Reddit.
Even just things like, if you're trying to look for am I the arsehole? You'll type in arsehole and they're like, we have nothing with arsehole.
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
That word doesn't
and
exist.
then you type in I am the arsehole, like, oh, well, yeah, here's the subreddit. I guess.
Okay, this is how crazy it was because I got this Ask Reddit and then I thought, oh, actually, I think I might want some people's comments, what they thought. So I was like, I'll get the link so I can click on it when we're doing the show. So I had the person's username. I copied and pasted it into the Reddit.
Yeah. They've never heard of anyone by that name.
Never heard of it at all. And then I went to people. So first, when you search something, because I didn't do
Yes.
first, which shouldn't matter.
No.
And
it should be finding keywords and going, here are the matches to those.
Yeah. And so then it's pulling up posts with, I think, the word ad and efficient in it or something. I don't know what the fuck it's doing. It's the most insane, bizarre search function ever. And then I was like, okay, I'll click on people. Surely it's in people. Mm-hmm. It came up with so many different variations of that name, but not that name. It just blows my mind. And so then I had to go back to where, because Avant Cardigan cross-posted it to us. So I could have a look. And then I was even thinking maybe the account was deleted or something after it. It's not. It's still there.
It's still there.
It exists.
Yeah.
So anyway, God, just the absolute worst search function in the world. on Reddit. Okay, so this one is, what do you miss most from your childhood?
This is one that you experienced with me, actually, which is one I didn't realize I missed so much until we went to an art exhibition
Yeah.
that was this thing. And as soon as I walked in, it was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, it's such a small thing. And actually, when you think about it, not an efficient way to do this. But going to a video store and just browsing the aisles.
Yeah.
As a kid, I would infuriate my parents because it takes so long to do it.
Yeah.
Because, there'll be some kind of combo deal where you need 3 films or something.
Yeah.
It's like, what will the third one be?
Yeah.
Let's take an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
And really look through everything.
Yeah. I used to spend so long at Blockbuster.
And I'd kind of forgotten about it until, there was an art exhibition in Melbourne. It was just a video store.
Yeah.
You walk in, it was just shelves and shelves of
Like
VHS.
a made-up nostalgic one. Like everything didn't actually exist.
Yes,
It was
not
just
a
like
real chain. No, it wasn't a
the
Blockbuster or
essence
anything.
of a 90s video store.
Yeah, full with terrible carpet.
Yeah.
Only when I walked in, I was like, oh, there's such a wave of nostalgia that I miss. The equivalent now is like going through the Netflix interface.
Yeah.
But there's something about it not being tactile that it doesn't have the same magic to it.
Yeah, there is something about walking around. It's not even just Blockbuster. I sort of even think I just do less shopping in general.
I really like flipping through records at stores. Even if I don't think I'm going to buy something, I like just seeing what's here,
Yeah.
Something about like going through a
music
collection
stores.
or something like that that's really nice.
Yeah. You've got a record player, so you even still has the opportunity to do that. But
Yes.
I don't even have any physical music media anymore. So I never even, like, if I walk past a record store, I'd be like, don't need to. It's all on my phone. And I kind of miss that bit. I even like in a Sanity that we had where you could just like go in and put the headphones on and listen to like an album of a newest band or whatever. There's none of that anymore. Well, I think there's no Sanities anymore.
Maybe like a country town somewhere.
Weirdly, they're in rural areas, just like the Blockbusters that exist there. Like, what are you guys doing?
Shut up! They haven't heard of Spotify here. Shut up!
Yeah, the internet's so bad out there they can't stream anything. I think what I miss about my childhood is, for some reason, if I look back at my childhood, not that I'd say this is like predominantly what I did, but something that comes to mind is camping as a kid.
Yeah.
Like went out camping with my family and stuff. And obviously, like, I have gone camping in my adult life, but also camping and not having the responsibility to set anything up. I think it was really great. And also perhaps not, I'm not sure if it was just that I didn't have an understanding or if or if it was just different back then. But stuff like having a fire right at a campsite. Now when I'm an adult, I'm so much more like cautious of, in Australia particularly, is it too hot? I mean, we have fire bans sometimes too, but even just when it's not fire ban, I'm always like, oh, should we have one? How close is this to a forest? But I feel like when I was a kid, it was like, I remember one time we just lit this ginormous bonfire.
Yeah.
We were at a campground and like it had been really dry, I think. So probably the worst weather ever. But there was just like heaps of fallen down branches and stuff. And we just built for ages. And then other people in the camping grounds like came to like help us. And it was just the biggest bonfire I think I've seen in my life.
And that was the day before Black Saturday.
Yeah.
That's a pretty niche Australian joke. I don't know if many Americans.
Yes. Lots of
big fire we had.
Lots of fire. But yeah, so I think the point was that kind of what I miss from my childhood is going camping with no responsibilities whatsoever. that in particular.
Do you also are you sad at the fact that if you're, say, Alan's driving home, you're the passenger in the car, and if you fall asleep in the car, she doesn't carry you inside?
Oh, that's so annoying. Like, come on, Ellen.
Yeah.
It's so comforting to be lifted
Nelson,
up.
I know you're pretending to be asleep. I'm not going to carry you inside.
I've got my arms up, just ready. That's true. That's pretty nice. Yeah, I think that that is kind of a bit nostalgic as well, isn't it? Like falling asleep in the car. I got some comments here just in case there were some that we could resonate with. Glittering Pack 494 says, no fucking adulting responsibilities.
Yeah.
Which, I feel like it's similar to my camping thing, just the idea of responsibilities in general.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty common universal theme of like, it came into your answer. It'd be like, I didn't have to do anything. I just got all the benefits of camping.
Yeah.
That was sick.
Yeah.
And the fires used to be bigger. It wasn't that I was smaller.
Yeah.
Gabe, so do you have more to say on the first
No, I was going to read the next thing.
Gabe 2591 says being happy, which makes me very sad.
Do you know what I think? I think this is nostalgia. And I mean, I don't know Gabe, but I suspect we have thoughts more of being happy when we were younger, but not that we were statistically more happy. Because I think I think about my nieces and nephews, right? Where they have such high and low emotions.
Yes.
They'll go from being like, this is literally one of my nephews the other day, we went on a trip to Tasmania. They said, this is the best day ever. I was like, I can't think of the last time I said that I was having the best day ever. Yeah. That's insane.
It's definitely so true. Like you do remember the good. And there's this really interesting thing. This is about music specifically. But people always say, oh, God, music used to be better. And this one guy points to the example of disco.
Yeah.
He said, you look at disco and you think, like, look at all these great tracks. But what no one ever remembers is say in, I don't know, 75 or whatever, when disco was really big and you have the really big songs, there was like 100 disco albums. And you remember the 3 really good ones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The good ones stuck around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think your childhood memories are a bit like that.
Yeah.
You don't remember the days that you were sick and you had to go to school or whatever.
Yeah.
You remember the weekends where you're out riding your bike.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. Like that same trip, I think my nephew was in tears at one point just because like he was tired and grumpy or whatever. And it's like, he's not going to remember that bit. No. He's going to remember like going on the hike and stuff that we did. So yeah, I like to think that being happy is more about just a blindness of
which is why I always say to my brother, whenever I make his kids cry, they're not going to remember this.
Yeah.
They'll remember being happy or whatever.
You slap around a bit. That's a boring one. This one, Louisa Wet and Wild said, my energy. Yeah. That is a thing that kids have an abundance of. And as an adult, I really feel bad because I want to be like the cool uncle. But it's a lot of energy to keep up with my niece and nephews.
I remember the first time that it hit me like a ton of bricks. The difference in energy was I was with it was my niece, and she said she wants to do aeroplane.
Yeah.
Pick her up on the shoulder. She puts her arms out. You fly around like an aeroplane. Yeah. Ran up and down the house for maybe 2-3 minutes doing that. Yeah. Put her down. She goes, again. Yeah. I said, oh, no. Yeah. I hadn't accounted for again.
Again is the worst word in the English language. Yeah, that does suck. Because you're like, cool, I got a good thing. They're really excited.
They love that.
You're like, oh, I've got to do this a million times over. It's like...
Because then I was like, I'm going to be honest, kid, when does it stop?
I think kids and also playing fetch with a dog is the same thing. You're like, I've started, I now cannot stop.
Yeah. I've now realized our energy outputs are different.
Yeah.
I regret this.
Actually, you know what? Just humble brag. Mm-hmm. I was dog sitting a little while ago. Mm-hmm. Tried to turn it into gold. Didn't work very well.
just died.
Paint. No, I was like, there was one time where I was throwing him the ball. We were like on a walk and I was like, I'm not going to stop. I was like, I just made a commitment to myself. I challenged myself to beat the dog. And Canberra, I won. It was that energy output thing.
Yeah.
Where like I'm piffing the ball as far as I can. And the dog is sprinting after it and sprinting back. So my energy output is pretty low.
What was the dog breed again?
It's a Bordoodle. So Border Collie cross poodle.
I like because Border Collies are energetic.
Yeah.
Hopefully the poodle part of it was really intruding. So it had the gusto of a Border Collie, but the longevity of a poodle.
I mean, I reckon I threw the ball like close to 100 times. Like it was a lot. It was a lot. So eventually it was just like, I'm so pooped. I grabbed the ball, walked over to where there was like a water trough, dropped the ball. I just like drank for a while and then laid down. I was like, oh God,
I've done it.
It's like, haha, I won.
But what did I lose?
Yeah, exactly.
There's one here from Venus Fly Zap 31. It says the utter excitement that accompanied birthdays and Christmas.
Oh yeah, that's good. The best way to experience Christmas, even currently, is through the eyes of a child, is to like be around a kid on Christmas or on their birthday or something. And you're like, man, this is a good time.
Yeah.
I forgot how exciting Christmas was until I was around a kid.
To me, Christmas is exhausting, but the period of time when all the kids are opening their presents and stuff like that, it is genuinely.
Yeah.
You see it through their eyes, and you're like, oh, okay, this is good.
Yeah.
We had to do all the prep to get the presents and cooking whatever it might be, and all that kind of stuff. But then you see that it's like you're going camping. They did nothing for it. They just rocked up.
Yeah. All right. We should move on into today's advice.
So now it's time for Today I Learned. Play the intro to that.
Today I learned.
And also sometimes advice.
This advice was by Throwaway 28492749. How do I, 20 male, tell my 20 female partner that her brain rot is making her less attractive? I think this type of humor can be funny once in a while, and I understand that it's a part of the culture of people our age. However, her vocabulary is full of just straight up brain rot to the point to the point where it doesn't feel like just a joke anymore. Everything is endearing during the honeymoon phase, so I used to frequently joke back to her. But now it's hard to find sigma or hachtua attractive, you know? It has gotten to the point where I cannot have a single conversation with her in person or over text where this type of language is not involved. I know this sounds so idiotic, but it genuinely turns me off when I try to have a normal, mature conversation, but she responds with just brain rot. The thing is, she can be serious when needed, and occasionally we'll have a good conversation. These are the moments that I look forward to, where I don't feel like I'm talking to an immature high school boy stuck in the body of an attractive woman. It's beginning to affect our sex life, as I'm finding it hard to get turned on by her. She's beginning to notice my lack of enthusiasm and feels insecure about it. I feel guilty for feeling this way, as she shows me nothing but love and support. I love her so much, but this is the one thing I cannot get over. I just don't know how to approach this subject to her because I don't want to hurt her feelings or make her feel self-conscious around me. I always try to reassure her when she's insecure, so I feel terrible bringing this up to her for fear of making her more insecure. She's a genuinely sweet, funny person, but the brain rot has gotten to be just too much for an adult. They've put an edit, which I didn't think was necessary, funnily enough, because they kind of explained in it. But anyway, here it is. Edit. Sorry for my overusage of brain rot. I am referring to common terms frequently used on TikTok or other social media platforms. Mm-hmm. Example, me, XYZ happened. Her, you get to be rizzing me. Ignoring the very obvious advice answer that we give almost 100% of the time is just talk to her about it.
Or that Reddit gives, which is break up immediately.
You could break up immediately. Sorry, one of two things: break up immediately, or just
talk to them,
or just literally talk to them. It's actually not that sensitive to be like some topics, can be a little bit more difficult. This one is so straightforward.
Yeah. This one, I think the age plays such a huge factor in, because I've definitely been in relationships like this as well, where even though you're the same age, people do mature at different rates. Mm-hmm. So I was in a relationship once where we were similar ages, I think 1 year between us. But I moved out of home when I was 18.
Yeah.
So I've been living independently since I was 18. I was probably about 25 in this relationship, so 7-8 years.
Yeah.
Where this person has still did and had always lived at home with their parents.
Yeah.
And maturity-wise, like, I just feel like even though we're the same age, we're at different places.
Yeah.
You know? I was maybe a bit further along of like, all right, I've had to independently, like, I need to make sure I'm working a certain amount to pay for rent. And I was also, I had finished like a course I was doing while I was working and stuff, where this person had done more casual work occasionally to get a little bit of extra money if they needed it, but they didn't need it, kind of thing. So it was just apparent that's like, oh, even though we're the same age, like we're on different sections of this road.
Yeah,
and it's not quite working. I need someone further up the road. You need someone maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, not further down the road, but someone willing to bring you further up or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it sounds like is happening here. Is maybe this person, the guy, is just a little bit further along in the maturity realm, and like it seems like a mismatch.
Yeah. I sort of. Yeah. I mean, I definitely get what you're saying, but I think that this seems like it can be easily curbed because I think the idea of, well, what I was going to talk about actually is I feel as though this language where you're saying all these like crazy words. Oh, do you know what I was able to explain recently is kappa or cap, no cap.
Yeah.
Because funnily enough, that one has been around for so long, but recently being used more to a broader audience because that started at Twitch. That was a Twitch emote called Kappa. And then it was like, sarcasm. And then you see no Kappa, no sarcasm, no cap. Obviously, it was like how it evolved. I explained that to my siblings recently as their...
you looked pretty young.
I looked pretty young. But what I was going to say is, do you think... I'm trying to work out if this is just me being older and, you know, sometimes when you look back, you have a blind spot to these things.
Yeah.
But to me, this sort of talk is way more common and prevalent than it was when we were younger. And I do think it has to do with, like, the internet and social media and the way that we have kind of like developed people. One person says a weird word, like the haktua thing. That was just like somebody saying it, and then that became like a meme, and then everybody's doing it, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like memes weren't a thing when we were younger. You know, that young. Or like, because we had something, right? One that I remember that I think is like in our time is "what's up," which was the worst. But it was just like that's like the only one I can think of.
Yeah.
I think I'm sure maybe there was like a few others, but like, and that didn't last forever. Or like people, I feel like kind of got over it pretty quickly. Yeah, because that was in the Scary Movie, and
I feel like maybe it is a bit of rose-colored glasses you're looking through. I think that it has always been there, similar to disco music. You just remember the ones that stick around and become part of the lexicon.
Yeah.
Like even as far back as like the 60s, words like groovy, right? Like that is referring to the grooves on a record.
Yeah.
That's when something is groovy. It's got a good groove to it. But I'm sure that seemed weird at the time, but has just become normalized. And there's probably a bunch of other ones that were big at that time, but everyone has. And I would say one that was definitely of our generation, a real millennial thing to say is banger. If something's a banger, like a song or a movie or whatever, which it just stems from a Parks and Recreation joke, I think is where it came from. But I do hear people sometimes just say it casually, but it's like there was a time where that seemed ridiculous to say. People were saying it as a joke. Yeah. And it's just weirdly been adopted. But there was a bunch of that time that I'm sure we've just forgotten because they were like a passing trend.
Yeah. I think that's probably true. I guess, I don't know. Maybe I've just forgotten it. But I'm thinking there's more of those ones that like won't stand the test of time, right? Yeah. Like there's more language being thrown out there that, like, for example, something like Riz, right? I really like that kind of usage of the word Riz. And I could see that maybe being more commonplace use of it. I can't imagine Haktua being something that
Haktua has huge was up or crazy frog energy.
Yeah.
Which is you'll look back and go, oh yeah.
Yeah. So
she did have Riz though. I gotta give it to her.
Yeah. But so I sort of think that I guess I just wanted to have that conversation, I think, before we go back to the maturity thing, because I'm trying to think, is this just like, is it a maturity thing? Because like you kind of said, like we do all do it. And so is it about the fact that he is more mature, or that, I don't know, just chooses to embrace it, like kind of thing? I don't know.
You could be right. It's just,
like I find that there are people who talk almost exclusively in this language, which is what it sounds like, right? To me, which is like, it's really lame. I think it seems really like pathetic when you're like, you're not really talking. You're just using kind of like, I don't know.
Memes
to speak. Exactly. That's exactly what it seems like. And I get the idea, throw a was up every now and again, But the idea of speaking like this, I think, is really weird and lame. But I think it doesn't take much to be like, just talk to the person and be like, hey, do you know you sound like a meme?
That is not a compliment.
Yeah.
Anyway, talk to them. Our standard advice still applies.
Just talk to him. All right, Cameron, let's get into shower thoughts.
Shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts.
This shower thought, I'm just going to do one because we're going to be quick because we're doing a long episode.
You seemed hesitant to get into shower thoughts, and it's time related. I thought I had cut you off saying something.
No.
Okay.
Cambo, this is going to be more of a guessing game. What do you think the first 50 comments were on this one? It was by Happy Contest 1635. The ceiling is the only thing in the house that gets touched the least but looked at the most.
The top 50 comments.
Yeah. This is the first thing I immediately thought of.
Yeah, okay,
and then looked at the comments.
Now I seem really dumb and maybe I'm in my head too much. I'm like, this is so obvious. You need to get it right.
Okay, yeah.
I immediately went to a dick joke.
Oh, okay. Yours is the least touched thing in the house.
Look at it all the time.
Okay,
don't touch it.
Okay,
but what was the comment?
Who looks at their ceiling the most?
Yeah, right. Well, I'm in bed, I guess.
I'm closing my eyes 99% of the time when I'm in bed. I if I just think of my field of view right now, in my peripheral, I can barely see the ceiling, and it's mainly the walls. What is this person doing where the ceiling is the most looked at thing?
Most looked at is weird, but I will say in Defense of Happy Contest 1635, I think inadvertently, without thinking about it, I know that I look at my ceiling because there's one patch of our ceiling that has like a little brown water stain.
Yeah.
And so many times I'm like, oh, God damn it. But I wasn't thinking I was looking at the ceiling, but clearly I could see it.
Okay.
I'd sit in a certain spot and I'm like, oh, God, there's that stupid water stain.
Maybe a Happy Contest is so much more in tune than the rest of us who really only passively look at the...
I just feel like it is in the peripheral, but enough that I'm noticing something on my ceiling.
Yeah.
Means that I clearly something in my brain is looking at it.
Yeah.
And if that's what they're talking about as far as looking at, I understand. If they're talking about head up looking at the ceiling, then
maybe they're meaning the ceiling is one entity across the whole house. Whereas you have a wall, that wall in that room can't be seen anywhere. If you're looking at another wall, that's a different wall.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at the ceiling in your lounge room and your kitchen, you're saying that's the same ceiling. So the entity.
Yes. Otherwise, because I would say
it's still pretty fucking bizarre.
in this room, if we're just talking the ceiling in this room as an entity, not the whole ceiling.
Yeah.
I would say the movie posters we have on the wall, big, beautiful movie
Yeah.
posters. Look at them all the time. When we started the episode, you were just staring at this King Kong
Yeah.
poster.
Sure, often.
Don't touch him. I never touch him.
Yeah.
Why would I touch him? So
Yeah.
I would say that is the most looked at and least touched in this room.
Yeah. Anyway, it's bizarre.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into Podnapping.
Oh my God! I'm being podnapped.
Podnapping.
This is Podnapping, where we nap a pod. We take a topic of conversation or a segment from
Or a
another
game.
thing and do it ourselves. This week
Just
is
setting up for next week.
my week. And Liz is written in top of the game again. Liz, I've used 2 of Liz's in a row, and I'm not sad about it. Thank you very much, Liz. The title of this is Podnapping When Needed. Needed is now. So Liz said, howdy. All right. Today I learned the word malaform, where you mix up 2 idioms. Interesting. Just as a side, that there is a word for that,
Yes.
malaform.
I was trying to work out if that was a combination of 2 different words.
It'd have to be mala something, right? And then forms never mind. So, do you know the original 2 sayings here? Some examples. Here's some examples, just so that you know.
Yeah.
You hit the nail right on the nose. A combination of you hit the nail right on the head,
Yep.
and that's right on the nose.
Yep.
She really stuck her neck out on a limb. Stuck her neck out and went out on a limb.
Yeah.
I can't make these split-minute decisions. Split second, last minute. We'll burn that bridge when we come to it. Cross/burn bridge is in there already.
Yeah.
Okay. Here they are. So these ones I don't think have answers. Let me just quickly check, because maybe I can do this. Yeah, okay, so I can do this with you, but we don't have answers. So we have to...
Looks like we're about to be pretty correct.
Yeah. That's the types of games I like,
yeah.
where
I will-
whatever we say is correct.
I will point out, we'll burn that bridge when we get to it. I have heard in the context where it is actually a play on words that is correct.
Yeah. Ironically, kind of.
Yeah,
saying it.
yeah. I forget what the film was, but they're saying like, oh, look, at some point, like, we're going to have to betray these people and
Yeah.
they'll know. And he says, well, we'll burn that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah.
That actually makes sense in the context.
Yeah. Okay. Each one is a pearl worth its weight in gold. So it's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah.
And each one is a pearl. What is that? I don't know what the full saying
I
of
don't
that
know what
is.
the pearl saying is.
I mean, like, it'll be unique. It's like, yeah. No, I feel like I have heard that.
I know the idea of like referring to something as a pearl, but I don't know what the
I think there is
official saying is.
more of a saying like that. Anyway, I can't think of it.
looks like we got that one correct.
We got that one correct. I can read him like the back of my book. Okay. Read him like a book. Or
know
like
him like the back of my
Like
hand.
the back of my hand. Yeah. The sacred cows. The sacred cows have come home to roost
Okay,
with
yeah.
a vengeance.
Oh, okay. With a vengeance throws a spanner in the hen house.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So chickens have come home to
Yes,
roost.
yeah. And so what was the other one? The cows.
The sacred cows
yeah.
have come home to roost with a vengeance.
Yeah, I thought it was about slaughtering a sacred cow, wasn't it? The saying.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah.
It's like yeah.
Don't
Like
say
you
don't
you don't slaughter the sacred cow.
don't slaughter the sacred cow. Yeah, the sacred cow has come home to roost. I get it.
with a vengeance, though, I don't know if that's a third one coming.
Yeah.
in.
It sounds like there's a third one in
Yeah.
there, doesn't it?
Yeah. Which is the only vengeance I care about is Die Hard.
Yeah,
a vengeance.
exactly. Die with a vengeance, obviously. We could stand here and talk until the cows turn blue.
Okay.
Until
Yeah.
the cows come home
And
and
face turns blue.
until face turns blue. Yeah. We will get there by hook or ladder. So it's like by hook or by crook, right?
Yeah,
is like
by hook
the
or by
internet.
crook, Yeah.
We get there by ladder.
Yeah. What's the ladder?
Um,
Because like there's also like by hell or high water. which is a similar thing. It's like no matter what.
Yeah.
Essentially, they all mean like we'll get there no matter what, or we'll do this no matter what.
We will get there by hook or high water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I've made up a new Malaform. Okay, we got that one right. It's time to step up to the plate and lay your cards on the table.
That's just two put
It
together.
seems too put together, doesn't it?
Yeah, you either step up to the plate to do something, or you
Yeah.
put your cards on the table, which is to say, like, here's what I got.
Yeah. Yeah, you could say it's
Yeah,
time to...
I feel like the true Malaform would be like, it's time to step up to the plate on the table.
Yes. Yeah. I
Or like,
feel
lay your cards on the plate.
Lay your cards on the plate. Yeah, something like that. Okay. He's burning the midnight oil from both ends.
Okay.
Again, this one's like burning the midnight oil. is-
Burning the candle at both ends.
and
is the
then
other one,
burning
yeah.
candle at
Yeah.
both ends. Yeah.
Which I learnt. We maybe have even said this on the podcast before. I had pictured a candle with two wicks burning quicker,
Yeah.
but apparently it's meant to be at both ends of the day. You get up so early in the morning that you light a candle, then you come home so late from work that you light it again. So
Yeah.
you're burning it at both ends of the day.
No, I have a candle with two wicks that I light at the same
But
time.
am I the only person that pictured the two
Oh,
wicks
I'm sure.
candle?
Yeah. It feels like that. That seems like the most logical. Like,
But except if you think about it, because why would they invent a candle like that?
for more light.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. It sticks out like a sore throat.
Sticks out like a sore thumb. The sore throat one, though. What's the saying to do with sore throats?
Like a frog in your throat. No, that's not really right for the context.
You'd focus on the frog bit of that, I reckon.
Yeah.
Do you know it took me like an embarrassingly long time, like into my late teens, maybe even early 20s, to put together frog in throat means you've got a croak in your voice.
Oh, really? Oh, that's funny.
I don't even know why I just clicked one day. I was like, oh,
It's one of those
I understood
things,
what
right?
it meant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I totally get that. Like, no shame.
Yeah.
Even though
Someone's
I
got a
obviously
croak in
it
your voice, like,
straight
oh,
away
I got a
from
frog
it.
in your throat.
Yeah. It's like there's times where something like that's happened. You're like, I should have got this so long ago.
Oh, Marshall Mathers, Eminem.
Okay. It's like looking for a needle in a hayride.
I don't know what the second
Haystack?
saying is. Yeah. Looking for a needle in a haystack. I don't know what the saying is that involves hayride.
Hayride?
Unless, are some of these just slightly wrong
They've
sayings?
just done the wrong.
Yeah.
But then I feel like that's not a Malaform.
Yeah.
But maybe there are some that we're just missing. Some idioms that we don't know.
Because we certainly have ones pretty unique to Australia that I'm sure Americans would know. Maybe we're getting some more unique to America that Australians don't know.
Yeah. It's time to swallow the bullet.
Bite the bullet
Bite the bullet.
and swallow the
Pill.
pill. Yes. Hard pill to swallow. Yeah.
Hard pill to swallow. It's time to swallow the pill. Yeah, okay. It's as easy as falling off a piece of cake. Okay. This is a piece of cake.
Yeah, piss cake.
As easy as falling. I think I have heard something like this,
Right.
but not used as much.
Yeah.
Like falling over. Or
Yeah.
something.
The phrase that comes to mind with falling to me is, I don't know if this is a universal or a very ochre Australia thing to say, but you say of someone they couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat.
Yeah.
And for some reason, that's the falling phrase that comes to mind when I hear
right.
falling.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
there must be another one that I'm not thinking of.
Yeah, that's a good one. Let dead dogs sleep.
Let sleeping dogs lie is one
And-
that they've...
Yeah. Let sleeping dogs. This one, it kind of feels because it's not quite let sleeping dogs lie either. It's just got dogs and okay. But let dead. Let dead. Is that like don't beat a dead horse kind of thing?
Oh,
Like,
right, yeah. Flogging your dead horse.
Yeah, flogging a dead horse, something like that. Let dead. It'd be something around that.
Yeah.
We got it right. That guy's out to butter his own nest.
Butter his own
And
bread.
And I thought it would be like beat his own chest kind of thing, but it
Yeah.
says nest. His own.
Like making your own nest? Is that a
Making it-
phrase?
Yeah, I think it is.
It's an Australian thing.
He's between a rock and a deep blue sea. He's between a rock and the deep blue sea.
Are these ones that people say?
Well, we always get at least one. It's between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, is it between the ocean and the deep blue sea? I think is the saying.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah. Must be. That sounds right.
But like, I understand both those sayings, but like, do people actually mix those two up, or is this just an example of one you could do?
I reckon, yeah, because see, it's funny, right? I feel like the ones that Liz maybe mentioned in her examples, like you hit a nail right on the nose, seems like something that somebody would accidentally say more
accidentally
often.
misspeak,
Yeah. But, or like she really stuck her neck out on a limb. But yeah, he's between a rock and the deep blue sea, sounds like.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I still feel like somebody can.
I'm sure.
Fuck that up stupidly. I was trying to think one for like an Aussie idiom. And I was thinking of, we're not here to fuck spiders.
Yeah.
But then I was like, no matter how you break that up, I think how about we're not here to fuck bubblegum.
But what's the other saying?
We're not here to chew bubblegum. Isn't that what it comes from? Isn't that something
is it?
that...
Well, yeah, they're I mean,
we're not here to fuck spiders is, I think, just the Australian version of we're not here to.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like chew bubblegum.
Right, you could be right. The context I have of that is like there's a famous movie quote from the movie They Live, where he walks into a bank with a shotgun, going to take care of all these invading aliens.
Yeah.
And he says, "I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum."
Yeah.
That's the context. That probably comes from the saying.
Maybe? Yeah.
Not here to chew bubblegum.
Yeah. That was it.
Great.
Thank you, Liz.
Yes. And he genuinely means that. He
I
has not had to
really-
do podnapping for weeks.
It's so good. Very much appreciated.
Yeah.
I actually came up with, I think, a very good podnapping. But it's kind of Christmas related. So I was like, I should wait, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it's so long now.
Yeah. I also remember last year I couldn't find my Christmas podnapping.
Oh, yeah, that's
I'm
right.
still hoping I'll find it.
You'll
by
find it again.
Christmas next year.
Yeah.
I've written it. It's somewhere on my Google Drive.
Yeah.
What have I saved it under? I don't know. I have like 10 documents called Untitled Document.
Yeah. All right. So thank you for that, Liz. If you would like to write into us with podnappings, you can do so. Reddit podcast, READIT podcast @gmail.com. You can also reach us at our subreddit or the Discord. The link is in the show notes. We'd also appreciate it if you could subscribe and rate the show 5 stars.
Yeah.
And
Thank you to Stacey Machine.
Thanks
coming on.
to Stacey Machine. Gosh, she will learn to love that nickname, I think.
If enough people keep calling her that.
Yeah, she'll have to. All right, so thanks for listening, and we will read you later.